Hello everyone, my name is Kirti Amolik, Assistant Professor in Chemistry at RBNB College. In the previous lecture, we have studied the order and molecularity of the reactions. In molecularity, the number of the molecules which are going to react in the chemical reaction, it may be 1, 2, 3, and accordingly the molecularity is called as the unimolecular reaction, bimolecular reaction, termolecular reaction, and so on. So molecularity is related to the number of molecules which are involved in the experimentally determined or chemically balanced chemical equation. So next point we are going to study, it is the factors affecting the rate constant of the reaction. Which are the different factors that will affect the rate of the reaction? So first factor is the temperature. So generally in the kinetic study we are keeping constant the value of the temperature. If the temperature is changed, then rate constant of the reaction will also get changed. As the temperature increases, rate of the reaction also increases. So in the kinetic study we are determining the rate constant for the reaction. So we have to keep constant the temperature so that we can measure the rate constant for the given chemical reaction. If temperature is not kept constant, then rate or constant will also get changed, and we cannot measure the rate constant for the given reaction. So in order to determine the rate or velocity of the reaction, the temperature should keep constant. So if we consider the increase in the temperature, if 10 degrees Celsius temperature is increased, then rate of the reaction will changes or increase to 2 to 4 of the reaction, 2 to 4 times of the reaction. So as the temperature increases, rate of the chemical reaction also goes on increasing. The next factor is the reactant, concentration of the reactant. We know that the rate constant, it is dependent upon the concentration of the reactant. As the reactants are consumed, are going to react in the chemical reaction, slowly their concentration goes on decreasing, and accordingly the rate constant will also goes on decreasing. So concentration of the reactant is very important factor. If the reactants are changed in the reaction, then rate of the reaction also get changed. So concentration of the reactant is very important factor, and we can explain it by taking the graph, that is concentration versus time. If we plot the graph of concentration versus time, we are getting the two curves are obtained. Here if we see here the concentration versus time graph is plotted for the given chemical reaction, then what happens as the reaction proceeds, the concentration of the reactant from the curve shown from the top to bottom, this is the curve which is shown from the top to bottom here, this curve, the concentration of the reactant goes on decreasing. As the time increases, T from T1, T2, T3, then what happens as the time increases, reaction proceed and concentration of the reactant goes on decreasing, and accordingly the rate of the reaction also goes on decreasing. Now here another curve is given which is shown from origin of this graph. So it goes from the left to right hand side, this is for the product. So here the concentration of the product goes on increasing as the reaction proceeds, and there is one point here where the concentration of the product and reactant will, or curve of the product and reactant will cross at this point. So from this point what happens, the concentration of the reactant is less and the concentration of the product is more at this cross point. Now on the curve of the reactant, 3 points are given for which time is given T1, T2 and T3. So at this point reactant concentration is to be considered. If we consider the general reaction, C gives the product. So C is the reactant. So C reactant, if we consider it is the concentration of the reactant, then according to law of mass action, we can write the rate constant equation for this reaction. It becomes dC of reactant divided by dt. So reactant concentration or rate constant can be given as dC of reactant divided by dt at time t1. This is the point here. At time t1, this equation is given. Now what happens as the reaction proceeds? Next point comes here. At the cross of reactant and product, dC reactant divided by dt. This is the rate equation or rate constant obtained at the time t2. Then again reaction proceeds, reactant further decreases, concentration decreases. Third point arrived here at time t3, we are getting the rate equation or rate constant dC reactant divided by dt at time when t is the t3. So from this graph we can say that the rate of the reaction is very much dependent upon the concentration of the reactant, and as the reactant decreases, the rate constant will also goes on decreasing. Again we can study the reaction rate or the concentration of the reactant by plotting another graph here. Percentage of the reaction is plotted against the time. In this graph, it will gives again the curve. We start from the 0 and at the end of this curve 100% of the reaction is completed. So below this straight line, below this line, the points are given which are A, B, C and D. So these points are the percentage of the reactant which are completed. A % of the reaction is completed here, B % of reaction, C % of reaction and D % of the reaction. So at the D % of the reaction, the reactant concentration is less, while A % of the reaction when completed, concentration is more because it is initial stage. And the difference in the time is given is delta t. So both of these graph very well explain the dependence upon the rate constant on the concentration of the reactant. Now second factor, third one is the concentration of the product. So generally rate constant is not dependent upon the concentration of the product because it is formed later in the reaction, its concentration increases, but it is dependent only on the concentration of the reactant. But in some special cases, two cases are given where rate constant may be dependent upon the concentration of the product. In the first case, when product is formed in the reaction and again it will revert back to the reactant, that is reversible reaction. So in the reversible reaction, products again starts to convert into the reactant. So its concentration goes on decreasing again and reactant will form again, and concentration of the reactant will goes on increasing. So for the reverse reaction we can say that the rate constant is dependent upon the concentration of the product. Now in another case, when the product will catalyze the reaction and it will inhibit or it will stop the reaction, in that case also the rate constant, it is dependent upon the concentration of the product. Then next is the concentration of the catalyst or the presence of the catalyst. So we know that catalyst is the substance that will accelerate or that will alters the rate of reaction. Some catalysts may increase or some catalysts also inhibit the rate of the reaction. So in presence of the catalyst generally alters the rate of the reaction. So in chemical reaction, if we want to increase the rate of reaction, so generally catalyst is used and it requires in very small quantity. So it will affect the reaction in very small quantity. It will increases or accelerate the rate of the reaction. For this, if we consider the reaction of the hydrogen and the oxygen, if we store the hydrogen and the oxygen in the dark room and it is stored for the several hours. So we know that the hydrogen and oxygen react to form the water. So hydrogen and oxygen react to form the water. If we carried out this reaction without a catalyst, in absence of the catalyst, these hydrogen and oxygens are stored in the dark for the several hours. Then we are getting very small amount of the water is formed, very small quantity of the water is formed. But if we carried out the same reaction in the presence of catalyst, if we add the catalyst to this mixture of hydrogen and oxygen, then highly explosive violently reaction occur. So this will leads to explosion, very fast reaction is occur. So this is the effect of the catalyst. So we can say that rate is dependent upon the catalyst. We can say it will increase the rate of the reaction, but it is not given in the rate equation. Catalyst, it is not given in the rate equation or experimentally determined rate equation, because at the end of and the start of the chemical reaction, the concentration of the catalyst remains constant. Actually it takes part in the chemical reaction, but its concentration remains constant at the initial and the final stage of the reaction. So there is no change in the concentration of the catalyst. So we cannot say that the catalyst is important to put in the chemical reaction. It is not given in the chemical reaction. The next factor which affect is the particle size of the reactants. We know that the rate constant is dependent upon the concentration of the reactant. As the particle size goes on decreasing, so what happens, surface area of this reactant molecules or substance increases, and as the surface area increases, more surface area will be available to react the molecules and reaction goes more faster. So therefore, as the smaller is the size of the particles, larger will be the surface area and reaction will goes more faster. Therefore, rate of the chemical reaction ultimately increases. So the rate constant will get also increased. So all these are the factors that will affect the rate of the reaction. Now besides this factor, some reactions are observed. Heterogeneous reactions, maybe homogeneous reactions are observed that cannot be carried out under simple or ordinary condition, but if the reactions are carried out in the presence of the light, these reactions goes more faster. So this type of the reaction they are called as the photochemical reaction. So photochemical reactions are again they shows the increase in the rate of the reaction in presence of the light. So light may act as the catalyst, or in presence of the light, rate of the reaction will get increased. This is happen only for the photochemical reactions. So this is about the factors which are very important in deciding the rate of the chemical reaction. The next point we are going to study the order of the reaction. First example is the zero order reaction. We know that the order of the reaction is the power of the concentration, power to which the concentration of the reactant it is raised in the experimentally determined rate equation. So it is the power. So whatever power present for the reactant in the rate equation, it is said to be the order of the reaction. So if the sum of the power of the reactant it is 1, then it is first order reaction. If it is 0, then it is zero order reaction. Then it may be a fractional, we have already said. If it is fractional, then it may be a fractional order of reaction. If it is second, it may be a second order reaction. So one by one we are going to study this expression, mathematical expression for the order of the reaction. So let us see first the zero order reaction. Now in the zero order reaction, it is found that the concentration of the reactant is found to be a constant. It is not going to change during the reaction. So rate of the reaction, it is not dependent upon the concentration of the reactant. Therefore, it is independent on the concentration of the reactant. So in zero order reaction, it is not very common reaction. These are very uncommon reaction, and generally these are observed in the heterogeneous phases or the heterogeneous reaction. Now let us consider the general reaction, that is A gives product. So A is the reactant and products are obtained from the A. Only one reactant is given. So we are going to consider the simple reaction. Now A is the reactant, and if we consider the Ca is the concentration of the reactant, Ca is the concentration of the reactant A, then from law of mass action we can write here rate equals to minus dA upon dt. So this minus sign indicates there is decrease in the concentration of the reactant. So from the rate law already we have derived this type of equation. So from the rate law, rate equals to minus dA upon dt equals to K0, or we can say that this K0, it is the proportionality constant or the rate constant for the zero order reaction. Now in the previous equation, some equation we have seen that the K0 is directly proportional to concentration of the reactant. So we have to write here concentration of A, but this is not shown here because concentration of the reactant is found to be unchangeable in this reaction. So concentration is independent here on the zero order reaction. So concentration term of the reactant, it is not given in the rate equation. So only constant, rate constant is given. So rate of the chemical reaction is minus dA upon dt equals to K0. K0 is the rate constant for the zero order reaction. Now if we consider the particular concentration for this reaction, A gives the product. If we consider A moles of the reactant is going to react in the chemical reaction at time T, A is the initial concentration of the reactant and X mole of the concentration of the reactant is going to react in the time T, then A will be the initial concentration, A moles of the initial concentration, X will be the concentration of the reactant that will going to react in time T, then unreacted concentration of the reactant is given as initial concentration minus the reacted concentration, that equals to the unreacted concentration of the reactant. So it becomes initial is the A, small a moles, and the amount of the reactant which is going to react in the time, it is X. So A minus X becomes the unreacted concentration of the reactant. Now if we put this value in this equation, then we know that minus Ca upon dt equals to Ca is the concentration of the reactant which is unreacted. Here remaining concentration of the Ca reactant, so it becomes minus d of the unreacted is the A minus X. So Ca it is replaced by A minus X upon dt, and further we can write instead of A minus X is the unreacted concentration of the reactant, and it is very small quantity in the zero, for the zero order it is very negligible, it cannot be measured. So it is nearly equal to the concentration which is reacted in the chemical reaction, it is nothing but the X. So we can put A minus X, it is very small quantity, so nearly equal to X. So it becomes dx upon dt equals to K0. Now if we rearrange this equation, then dx dt goes to right hand side, so it becomes dx equals to K0 into dt. So here we are getting the simplest equation On the right hand side there is the X term, concentration term is involved. On the right hand side there is K0 constant and time term is involved. Now we want to remove this derivative. In order to remove the derivative, we can take the integration. So this equation can be integrated from the limits for the x for x it is 0 to x value, it can be integrated. X is equals to 0 to x is equals to x. So we can write integration for the dx, x is equals to 0 to x is equal to x. For time can be integrated from the value t is equals to 0 to t is equals to t. So it becomes k0 dt. So as the k0 is the constant, rate constant, so it will comes out of this integration sign. So we are getting k0, this will be t equals to 0 to t equals to t into dt. So in order to remove now this integration values, we are getting into square bracket x, 0 to x, and into k0 for t it is 0 to t. So removing these values, we can put the final values t minus 0 and x minus 0. So it becomes x for x and it becomes t for the t, which are the final values. So final minus initial, it becomes x for the x and t, final t value for the t. So equation becomes the x is equals to k0 into t. So where x is the concentration of the reactant reacted here, and k0 is the constant for the zero order reaction, and t is the time in which the reactants will react, x moles of the reactant will react. So this is the final equation for the zero order reaction. Now this zero order reaction, it can be given in this form, x is equals to k0 into t. Now let us see which are the characteristics of the zero order reaction. So first characteristic is explained on the basis of the graph. If we plot the graph of concentration versus the time, in that case we are getting the straight line. When we plot the graph for concentration versus time, we can put here the values of the concentrations and the time, we are getting the straight line. Now if we obtain the slope at any point on this graph, the slope is found to be equal to, or it will give us the value of the k0. It is the zero order rate constant. So from this slope, rate constant can be obtained. So this by graph we can also calculate the value of the zero order rate constant. So this is the first characteristic. Then second is the units for the zero order reactions. So generally the basic main equation for the zero order, it is x is equals to k0 into t. For the k0 we can write x upon t. So if we consider the units, x is the concentration and t is the time. So unit for the concentration is moles per liter. You can write here moles per liter, and for time it is per second. So unit for the rate constant, zero order rate constant, it is moles per liter per second. This is the unit. Now if we consider the k0 equals to x upon t, we can calculate the half-life also. We can calculate the half-life period for the zero order reaction. If we consider the half-life period for the reaction or zero order reaction constant, then in that case if we assume that the half of the reactant is consumed at the time t half, if we consider t half is the time at which half of the reactant is consumed, and half of the reactant is said to be A upon 2 because A is the initial concentration of the reaction. So A upon 2 becomes the half concentration of the reaction. So if we put this value into our zero order rate equation, then X becomes A upon 2, K0 remains as it is, and T becomes T half. So we can calculate here the value of T half equals to, T half is nothing but the half life period for the zero order reaction. So it becomes T half equals to K0 into 2 divided by T of half equals to A divided by 2 into K0. So this equation gives the half-life period for the zero order reaction. So that's all for today. In the next lecture, we will study the second order reaction and mathematical expression for the second order reaction. Thank you.